The story of the Tower of Babel. In the gentle dawn of human history, long after the waters of the great flood had receded and Noah's descendants had multiplied upon the earth, all people spoke one language. Their words flowed like a single river, connecting hearts and minds in perfect understanding. The world was fresh with possibility, and humanity moved as one family across the fertile plains of Shinar. These early people were filled with dreams and aspirations, their minds alive with creativity, and their hands skilled in crafts of all kinds. They journeyed from the east, following the path of the sun, until they found a valley that seemed to whisper of home. The plain of Shinar stretched before them, vast and welcoming, with rich soil beneath their feet and endless sky above. In this place of promise, they began to settle, creating homes and cultivating the land. Their community grew strong through shared purpose and understanding. Each person could speak to another as easily as breathing, their thoughts and feelings flowing between them like gentle streams joining a mighty river. As they lived and worked together, an idea began to take shape among them, growing like a seed in fertile soil. They saw how their unity gave them strength, how their shared language allowed them to accomplish wonderful things. Their hearts swelled with pride at their achievements, and their minds turned to even greater aspirations. In their evenings of rest, gathered around fires that pushed back the gentle darkness, they began to dream of building something magnificent. Their voices mingled with the night air as they shared visions of a city that would stand as a testament to their capabilities. But more than a city, they imagined a tower, one that would reach toward the heavens themselves. They spoke to one another of making bricks, of burning them thoroughly to create something stronger than stone. They developed methods to bind their bricks with bitumen, creating foundations that would stand firm against time itself. Their ingenuity flourished as they worked together, each mind contributing to the whole, like threads weaving a tapestry of human achievement. The work began with the rising sun, and the plain of Shinar became alive with purposeful activity. The air filled with the soft sounds of construction, of people working in harmony toward their shared goal. Each brick was carefully formed and placed, each level of the tower rising steadily toward the sky they sought to touch. The tower grew steadily, rising like a prayer toward heaven. Each day brought new progress as the people worked together in perfect coordination, their shared language allowing them to move as one. The morning sun would catch the sides of their creation, casting long shadows across the plain that grew longer with each passing day. In their dedication, they barely noticed how the tower was changing them. Their eyes turned more often upward than to each other, their conversations focused increasingly on height and grandeur, rather than the simple joys of community. The gentle rhythms of daily life began to fade beneath the steady drum of ambition. Their desire to make a name for themselves grew like ivy climbing the walls of their mighty tower. They sought to ensure that they would not be scattered across the face of the earth, to create something so magnificent that it would bind them together forever. Their unity, once a gift of mutual care and understanding, became focused on reaching ever higher. The Lord looked upon their work with gentle awareness, seeing not just the tower rising from the plain, but the hearts of those who built it. Like a parent watching children grow too quickly, seeing them reach for things beyond their understanding, the Lord perceived both their remarkable capabilities and their need for guidance. The tower had risen high enough that clouds would sometimes drift through its upper levels, yet still they built higher. Their determination was admirable, their cooperation remarkable, but their purpose had drifted from the divine plan for humanity to spread across and tend the whole earth. With infinite wisdom and care, the Lord chose to guide humanity toward a different path, not through destruction or harsh punishment, but through a gentle redistribution of their gifts. Their single language, like a vessel too full, would overflow into many streams of expression. The change came softly, like dawn spreading across the sky. As people woke and went about their work, they began to notice subtle differences in how they understood one another. Words that had once flowed easily between them now carried new sounds, new meanings. The air filled with a symphony of different voices, each speaking in its own unique way. At first, there was confusion, gentle and puzzling rather than frightening. Workers found themselves unable to understand the instructions of their fellows. Friends who had shared stories around evening fires now heard unfamiliar sounds where familiar words had been. The tower stood silent as the people tried to make sense of what was happening. The change moved through the community like a warm breeze, bringing with it not chaos, but a new kind of order. Gradually, people began to gather in smaller groups, drawn together by shared understanding of their new languages. Each group discovered the beauty of their unique way of speaking, like musicians finding their own particular melodies within a greater symphony. The work on the tower slowed and then gently ceased, not with disappointment, but with acceptance. The people began to understand that perhaps their destiny lay not in reaching heaven through height, but in spreading across the earth to share their gifts more widely. Their different languages became like seeds scattered by a careful gardener, ready to take root and flourish in new soil. Families and groups began to move outward from Shinar, following the paths of their new languages. Some journeyed toward distant mountains, others toward fertile valleys or coastal plains. Each group carried with them not just their unique way of speaking, but their own special understanding of the world, their own ways of seeing beauty and expressing truth. The tower remained as a reminder, not of failure, but of transformation. Its unfinished height spoke not of human limitation, but of divine wisdom. Like a tree that grows in many directions rather than straight up, humanity began to branch out, creating a canopy of cultures as rich and varied as a sunset sky. In their new communities, people discovered gifts they had not known they possessed. Some became storytellers in their new tongues, others singers of songs that had never been heard before. The different languages gave birth to different ways of seeing the world, different ways of expressing love and wonder, different ways of seeking and finding wisdom. The plain of Babel became quiet again, but it was the peaceful quiet of a garden after rain, full of potential and new growth. The tower stood as a gentle monument to human collaboration, while also reminding all who saw it that true greatness often comes not from reaching up, but from reaching out. As we reflect on this ancient story, we might see how it speaks to us still, like starlight reaching us from distant times. The Tower of Babel tells us not of punishment, but of divine guidance redirecting human energy toward a more beautiful purpose. Perhaps we can see in this story a reminder that our differences are not barriers, but bridges, each unique language and culture adding its own color to the tapestry of human experience. Like a garden that flourishes through diversity, humanity grew richer through its many voices, each one singing its own part in the great song of creation.